Welcome to Teach Anywhere. This is a presentation to take you through the steps of attestation. This is particularly aimed for UK and Irish teachers who are working or hoping to work with the Abu Dhabi Education Council. And we're going to take you through the steps of the attestation process in both the UK and Ireland. So the first thing to remember is that to get a visa and working for ADEC, you need to attest two documents. So the first one is your highest degree, and the second is your teaching certificate or your teaching qualification. So for your highest degree, it could be any one of those documents listed there. It could be your Bachelor of Education, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, your Master's degree, or your PhD, if you have any of those. It just has to represent the highest degree that you've actually got. Now, as well as that, for your visa, you need your teaching qualification. And again, we've listed some documents there which is appropriate for that. So that's a PGCE, a PGDE from Scotland or from Ireland, a higher diploma, a QTS or Qualified Teacher Status Certificate, or a teaching registration document. So any of those documents are fine to represent those two things that you need for your visa, your highest degree and your teaching qualification. Now, if you have a Bachelor of Education, you need to remember that you can only use that for your highest degree document. You can't use it for your teaching qualification. So, so those teachers who do have a Bachelor of Ed, you need to remember that you can only attest your teaching qualification as well as that. So in that case, that will probably be a QTS certificate. So let's just start off with the UK. I've just taken an example of a QTS certificate, and so the first step to get your attestation underway is to take it to a solicitor and get a certified copy. Now, the best way to do that is just to Google solicitors or notaries in your area and just phone around and just find the cheapest one possible. Some will charge £5, some will charge £50, so just make sure that you get a nice cheap one that's friendly. And you'll end up with a copy of your original certificate with a stamp on it and a signature just stating that your document or your copy is a true and genuine likeness of the original. The second step is to send it to the FCO, which is the Foreign and Commonwealth Office in the UK. Now, this is basically just to state that the QTS or your highest degree or whatever, the university that it was issued in, is true and genuine, and is not fake. So basically, they just state that it's a valid document. And then the final step is to send your document to the UAE embassy, and they will put a stamp on the back, usually underneath the flap of the FCO stamp, just stating that it's fine to use this document to teach in their country, to teach in Abu Dhabi or Dubai or wherever. Now, the phone numbers, the contact details, websites, all of that is available on our attestation guide, which we can email to you if you haven't got it. We're not going to give you those individual details right now, but you can refer to that in the guide. Okay, so this is just a typical example of a teacher last year who attested their, in this case, their Bachelor of Arts on the left, and then their PGCE on the right. So you can see an example of someone who's attested their highest degree, which is their bachelor's, and then their teaching qualification, which is their PGCE. Okay, just moving on to the Irish documents now. Again, it's exactly the same two documents that we have to keep in mind for these. It's your highest degree and your teaching certificate. For this example, I've just got an example of a higher diploma in education, just to show you the sort of stamps and the processes. So again, the first step is to get a certified copy, which is the stamp you can see at the bottom left corner of that certificate. And it's exactly the same as in the UK. It's just a solicitor which says this is a true and genuine article of the original. The second step is to send it to the Department of Foreign Affairs. And again, you can get details of where that is on our attestation guide, but they will put a stamp on it, basically saying that it's a genuine university that this was issued from. And the final step, this one's slightly different to the UK process, but it's sending it on to the Irish Arab Chamber of Commerce. And basically they'll put a stamp on it and they will send it directly to the UAE embassy in Dublin. and again, Dublin, the UAE embassy will put a final stamp on it. So you've got 3 steps there, and essentially when your document comes out the other end, you'll have those various different stamps on it. Now again, for details and of phone numbers, websites, all of that, you can refer to that on our attestation guide, and I highly recommend that you do that. So here's an example then of an Irish candidate last year who attested, in this case, her Bachelor of Education. Now remember, you can only use your Bachelor of Education for your highest degree. And then she went on and she attested her teaching registration document, which is on the right there, and she basically attested that as well. So she has the 2 documents required for her visa, the Bachelor of Education and the teaching qualification, and therefore now she's teaching in Abu Dhabi. A couple of things to remember. Your document has to be attested in the country it was issued. So you might be a teacher, for example, who did their undergraduate degree in Dublin and then qualified to teach in the UK. So if that applies to you, you would have to attest your undergraduate in Ireland, follow the steps there. But your teaching qualification, if it was from the UK, you would have to follow the steps of getting that one attested in the UK. Basically, there is a law that says that you can't attest any of your documents in a different country to what it was issued in. So if you qualified in Ireland, you have to get it attested in Ireland. For those teachers who are traveling with a spouse or with children, you have to also attest your marriage certificate. If you're traveling with well, if you plan to have your spouse living with you in Abu Dhabi, and if you plan to have your children living with you, then you have to also attest their birth certificates. Now, it depends on the country, but most countries will not allow you to get certified copies of those marriage certificates and birth certificates. So you will, in fact, have to attest the original. So basically go through all the steps, but just miss out the very first step, which is the certified copy from a solicitor. Again, further details are on our attestation guide. And that's the end. I hope you enjoyed this presentation.